The subject line said Complaint Acknowledgement and Investigation Notice. I opened it sitting in Josephine's parking lot and read through the formal language. He confirmed they'd received my complaint and were opening an internal investigation into the company card usage and workplace conduct. The message was careful not to promise any specific outcomes or timeline. It said they'd be in touch with next steps, and thanked me for bringing these matters to their attention. Reading it made the whole thing feel more real, like it wasn't just my word against Jerry's anymore. I forwarded the email to Josephine and then sat there for a few minutes trying to process everything that had happened since this morning. I drove to my friend's house where I'd been crashing since I got back from Hawaii. She wasn't home from work yet, so I let myself in with the spare key she'd given me. I opened my laptop at her kitchen table and logged into our joint bank accounts. My stomach dropped when I saw how much money we had tied up together. How many years of saving and planning were sitting there in accounts with both our names on them. I opened the spreadsheet template Josephine had sent me and started documenting everything. Every transaction from the past 6 months, every shared credit card, every bill that came out of our joint account automatically. I listed the house and both cars and the retirement accounts and the savings bonds his parents had given us for our wedding. I went through our credit card statements line by line, marking which charges were mine, which were his, which were shared household expenses. I spent 3 hours building this spreadsheet, my eyes burning from staring at the screen and my back aching from hunching over the laptop. Josephine had said I needed to understand the full picture before we could protect my interests. Now I could see exactly how tangled our financial lives had become and how much work it would take to separate everything. I barely slept that night on my friend's couch. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jerry's face in that conference room or heard Sasha's voice saying it wasn't what I thought. I gave up trying to sleep around 3 in the morning and pulled out my phone. I started making lists of everything I needed to do in the Notes app. Find my own apartment, something I could afford on just my salary. Focus on my own job and make sure this mess didn't affect my work performance. Build a support system that didn't include our mutual friends because I couldn't trust who would take his side. Get my own car insurance and health insurance. Change my emergency contacts and beneficiaries on everything. Update my address with the bank and credit cards once I found a place. The list kept growing and growing until it filled 3 full screens on my phone. But somehow writing it all down made it feel less overwhelming. The panic turned into a plan I could actually follow. Concrete steps instead of just fear and anger swirling around in my head. The next morning, I woke up to an email from Ronan asking me to come in for a formal interview. He said to bring any materials that supported my claims about the company card misuse. We scheduled it for Thursday afternoon, which gave me 2 days to organize everything. I spent most of Wednesday creating a timeline document with every receipt and screenshot arranged in order. The romantic beachfront dinner Jerry charged as client entertainment. The couple's massage booking for him and Sasha. The first-class ticket upgrade for her flight. I added the photo with the timestamp showing it was taken at 2 in the morning in our hotel room. I included screenshots of text messages between Jerry and Sasha with hearts and inside jokes. I put together a packet that told the whole story in documents that couldn't be argued with or explained away. Jerry started texting me from a number I didn't recognize on Wednesday night. The messages came in one after another, each one swinging between apologizing and accusing me. He said I'd humiliated him in front of his entire executive team and destroyed his reputation over nothing. He said I was overreacting to a simple misunderstanding and making it into something it wasn't. He said Sasha was just a friend and I was being jealous and crazy. Then the next message would say he was sorry and he never meant to hurt me. And could we please just talk? I took screenshots of every single message and forwarded them to Josephine without responding to any of them. She'd told me that engagement only gives him power, and the best thing I could do was document everything and stay silent. After I sent her the screenshots, I blocked the new number and put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Thursday morning, the company's finance department sent me a direct email asking for the receipts I'd mentioned in my message to HR. I replied with attachments of everything. The beachfront restaurant bill for 3 people charged to Jerry's corporate card with client entertainment written in the notes. The spa booking confirmation showing a couple's massage for Jerry and Sasha charged the same way. The airline receipt showing Sasha's ticket upgrade to first class, also on the company card, also labeled as client entertainment. I included the dates and amounts and a brief explanation that these were personal expenses for Jerry's coworker during what was supposed to be my anniversary trip. I hit send and felt a small surge of satisfaction, knowing that finance departments don't mess around when it comes to card misuse. My phone started blowing up with texts from mutual friends Thursday afternoon. They all wanted to know what happened and why I was trying to ruin Jerry's career over a misunderstanding. Some of them said I was overreacting, and that successful men always have close relationships with female coworkers. Others said I should have handled it privately instead of embarrassing him at work. A few said they'd heard his side of the story, and it sounded like I was making a bigger deal out of it than it really was. I read through the messages, feeling my chest get tighter with each one. None of these people had been there in that hotel room. None of them had watched my husband invite another woman into our anniversary bed. None of them had spent the flight home alone looking at photos of the 2 of them tangled together. I turned off all my notifications and decided I was done explaining myself to people who weren't there and didn't see what I saw. If they wanted to believe Jerry's version where he was the victim and I was the crazy jealous wife, that was their choice. I knew what I'd seen, and I had the evidence to prove it. Friday morning, I woke up on my friend's couch with my phone already in my hand and pulled up a search for therapists who handle divorce and betrayal. I scrolled through profiles for 20 minutes before finding Janelle Pittman, whose bio mentioned specializing in relationship trauma and helping people rebuild after major life changes. I clicked the booking link and saw the first available appointment was next Tuesday at 2 in the afternoon. I selected it and entered my information, then stared at the confirmation email for a solid minute like it was some kind of proof that I was actually dealing with this instead of just surviving it. I added the appointment to my calendar and set 3 reminders because I couldn't trust my brain to remember anything important right now. That afternoon, I met Josephine at her office and she had papers ready for me to review. She explained she was filing for temporary court orders to freeze our joint accounts, so Jerry couldn't drain them or hide money before the divorce was final. The orders would also establish a no-contact rule requiring all communication to go through our attorneys instead of directly between us. She told me Jerry had already tried showing up at my temporary housing once, and these orders would give me legal protection if he violated them again. I signed everything she put in front of me and watched her make copies for the court filing. She said the judge would likely approve them within a week, and that gave me something concrete to hold on to. Back at my friend's place, I opened my laptop and started creating folders for all the evidence I needed to organize. I made one for photos, one for receipts, one for text messages, one for emails, and one for the credit card statements showing every charge Jerry made on the company card. I spent the rest of Friday and all of Saturday going through everything methodically, downloading files and sorting them by date and category. Every time I looked at the photos from Hawaii or read through the text exchanges, I felt my chest get tight and my hands start shaking, but I forced myself to keep going because this documentation was the only power I had. I created a detailed timeline showing when Jerry changed the restaurant reservation, when he booked the couple's massage, when he used the company card for Sasha's ticket, and when I took the photos of them in bed together. By Sunday afternoon, I had a complete packet ready for both HR and the compliance department, organized so clearly that anyone could follow exactly what happened and when. Wednesday evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table working on my laptop when I heard knocking at the front door. I looked up and saw Jerry through the window, standing on the porch and calling my name. He said we needed to talk face-to-face like reasonable adults, and work this out without lawyers getting in the way. I grabbed my phone and started recording video of him from where I sat, capturing his voice and his presence at the door. I didn't respond or move toward the door at all, just kept filming while he knocked and called out for another 5 minutes.